Greetings, people of the internet, provided you exist. For all I know, you could be bits of code mimicking human communication. I haven't met any of you in person. Well, except for Late Blight, but I suspect he might be a robot. Anyway, I thought I'd show at least one other nerdy thing I am up to, in addition to making videos about video games for the internet. And that is toy guns and doing stuff with them. Mainly I've got a bunch of different toy guns which I intend to modify, make them more real-like and for propping purposes and fun and maybe for costumes and stuff. Anyway, well, I guess I might as well go in chronological order that I got these. Here we have the Nerf Maverick. A nice big honking revolver. Bit of dust there. Yes. Jeez, well, not much to say. I imagine I'll mainly paint this silvery metal color. I'm thinking of for a bit of an added effect, using these dots, making the tips copper colored. And what else? Oh, I don't know. Well, the grip with this is... I have to agree with people who say this grip is quite unergonomical. I mean, how are you supposed to? You have these notches, or whatever you call them, if you try angling your hand in their direction, and well, then try to get your trigger finger there. Yeah, I think, and if you just hold it naturally, this dig into your palm. I think I'll, at the very least, sand and file this smooth. Actually, I'm thinking I might just saw this whole grey part off and replace it with actual wood. Well, nothing more to say about that. Next, let's take this. The Nerf Retaliator, which is more or less the same as Nerf Recon, I think it was. Normally this thing would have a barrel extension and a stock. And this one I'm thinking of turning into a Judge Dredd lawgiver. Even this big honking peg at the back comes in handy, since all the lawgiver models have an eyepiece right here, which according to the schematics 2018 has put out, that is a through barrel sight. I mean, it seems like a nice idea, though I don't know how they would do that in practice. Well, I'm thinking of modeling this on the lawgiver in the Judge Dredd vs. Death game, which was set to be Lawgiver Mark III. Oops. That would mainly involve, well, of course, painting this thing black and getting the usual ammo selector dial here. I think I might be able to work it into a separate part which slides into this slide part. And also this peg here isn't just for show, it actually, yeah, you can see a bit of the orange. It actually, the plunger, when you pull the slide back, the plunger withdraws all the way up to here, and now it's gone. And what else? Well, I think I'll just take the clip and add a bit to it to make it look a bit beefier. And probably put some kind of cap on the barrel here, and this part also comes in handy since the lawgivers seem to have some kind of sensor here, which I forget what exactly it is for, but well, seems like a good place to start. Next, let's see. Here, Super Soaker, High Tide, in some markets called, I think, Point Break. I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. I just got it because I like the look. I'm thinking maybe, since it has this pump function, I might make it so that this forward is the default state and add a bit of length this and make it a sort of, give it sort of an appearance of a stumpy little pump action shotgun. Oh. And this Lanard Rotator X8. Yeah. This I got for a very specific purpose, since for making a Chaos Engine Gentleman gun. Seems like a pretty good base. Put a big tube over here and it'll look much more like it. Also, it has an actual hammer, which is a bit uncommon for these things, since it doesn't really... This hammer here is just for cosmetic purposes. Pull the trigger and it strikes the hammer, but the hammer doesn't actually do anything. Of course, I'll saw this part covering the hammer off. And what else? Yeah, this, unlike with the Maverick, the cylinder doesn't swing out. There's this groove, the groove here, which you just use to slide the darts in. I don't know. I would like to keep the functionality intact if I can. I'll see what I can do about this. Yeah, it is rather interesting how this functions. First you pull here, which gives you the pressurized air, and I'll just do it like this so the dart doesn't go flying. And when you pull the trigger, first thing it does it releases the dart. Then when you pull it a bit more, it strikes the hammer, and then you pull it all the way. The last thing it does, it cycles the cylinder. It seems like it would be a bit inconvenient if you're actually going to go playing around shooting things with this, since just playing around with this I've several times gotten it so that I pull the trigger and get it enough for the dart to fly, but then I don't pull it all the way back to a cycled cylinder, so end up doing this. And also this plunger, it has 4 steps. You can pull it and you can just put it halfway, just one step to get a bit less propulsion, I guess. And yeah, this is just how you put the dart in. Well, we'll see how that goes. The Gentleman. How is it? Something like that. Of course, this does look quite cool, even if you just, make this default thing all metallic looking. Well, of course, with this cone in the front removed. And I will have to do something about the big honking plunger thing here to make it less obtrusive. Is that the right word? I think so. We got next. Oh, yes. this you might have seen. Some of you probably followed Stuart Ashen, and he showed this off about 6 months ago, I think. Obviously it's a Blade Runner, modeled after the Blade Runner gun, a bit small even for my slender hands. And you pull the trigger, it tosses the, well, stuff goes around in this clear part, just this small paper spheres or something. It lights up. The plunger in front of the barrel goes back and forth, and let's see, how can I show this? Yeah, it appears to have a genuine laser. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not going to play all that sound true that it makes, but yeah, a $5 Chinese chunky toy has an actual laser. I guess we are living in the future. Also, I would like to point out a couple of mistakes Dr. Ashens did in his video. Bad chance of him ever hearing about this anyway, but anyway, I have the box here. First of all, he pointed out that in the box it shows this gun with, you know, clear cylinder and gold-colored bullets inside. But if you turn the box around, you have this model, which actually is here with the paper pebbles. Also, I love this. Right, it says right here. I think that might be visible. My monitor is reflecting too much, but it says Novel Original, the third line here. Yeah, this is obviously original, not in any way based on anything that already exists. And the other thing, the battery department here. Let's see. I think it says somewhere on the box that it takes 3 batteries, though it looks it only takes 2. But if you let's see. Now, if you take out 1 battery, you'll find that there is a third one which slides up here. And I'm going to take this out because I have a bunch of other battery operated stuff. Oh, come on now. There we go. And I'm not going to throw around batteries just when I can switch these around. Also, this is in my opinion a fairly bad way to put the opening to the battery compartment. Why not have it at the bottom here? Anyway, yes, what I'm actually planning to do with this is at some point make it look more like an actual Blade Runner gun. One of the problems is that it is symmetrical. Yeah, both sides are the same. Let's see. Now, here, this is just a toy gun I bought from a web store because it looked pretty close to, or it looked like a good base to be doing a Syndicate Persuader. Got this here. Oop. Now, of course, get rid of the scope here, which it's not a real scope, just for show. And here, and that's what the sound it makes, and lights. Anyway, well, the battery compartment is right here, which means I'll have to rewire a fair bit if I want to have it actually make lights and sounds in the future. And let's see, chop off a bit here and add some stuff so it, let's see, goes like this, like a persuaded drone should. But well, it seems like a good base. And next up, ahoy! It's another Blade Runner gun. This I got from a, let's see, American web store called Airsoft RC. Yeah, let's put the batteries in. See, this one opens from the bottom. And this also takes 3 batteries. If I can figure out which way these go. I imagine it's like that. And ooh, that's loud. Yeah, pull the trigger and stuff lights up. There's what? 1 light in here, 1 light here, and 3rd one here, and it makes sound. And the sort of slide-like thing at the top moves back and forth, and the bullets move around. This, I think, is a much better one than the previous. It is perhaps a bit beefier than the actual gun in the Blade Runner movie, but I sort of like it. I mean, for instance, this top section is a bit rounded, where the other LEDs would go, while it was flat in the real gun. But yeah, I think I'll just make this Blade Runner-y looking and say it's a, you know, a variant of the model or something. And well, I guess I'll get this orange part here off, maybe widen it a bit, put a bit of PVC pipe or something under there to make it look like an ejection port. Of course, cover this part up with something. And well, of course there's the, well, with both of these, there's the matter that there's just one trigger. So that's going to take a bit of doing. But yeah, I like this one much better. It's quite sturdy. It's bigger, fits better in my hand. Actually, from the stuff I can find about the real Blade Runner guns, this is a little bit bigger than the real thing, while that silvery one is a bit too small. And also this is asymmetrical. On this side you have, let's see, this little switch thing, I suppose. Now I lost the word. This silvery stick thing. On this side you have the lever and other stuff, and the handle is different on each side as well, which is nice. Also, oh yes, I should mention this one and this one, which I'm going to show next, are from the same American web store, which only ships to the United States, but I got Mike Mnemonic was generous enough to act as a middleman with that and then mailed this to me. Yes, and this one, which is based on the RoboCop Auto 9 gun, though this is much smaller, which I'm actually completely fine with, given that the actual Auto 9 is freaking huge. And here also the battery compartment is opened at the bottom, and I have a screwdriver because there is a screw here which holds it closed. And up. Oh great. I appear to have dropped the screw. Unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere far. Okay, and Operation Battery Replacement. I just need 2. If I do that, well, I'll show some of the stuff. But first of all, this is very cheap and flimsy feeling plastic. I think when I modify this, I'm going to give it a coating of putty inside or something to make it sturdier. And when you pull the trigger, of course some electronics go off once the batteries are in, but the slide moves back a bit, and yeah, this just feels unhealthy, like it's almost breaking every time you do that. And the slide moves back just a little bit. And I've actually opened this up, and what pulls the slide back forward is a rubber band. Oh, no fancy springs for you! And also part of the wiring inside is held in place by a bit of tape. So yeah, this is quite cheap. And let's see, batteries. This. Okay. Actually shows which way the batteries are supposed to go on this. Okay, let's see. Yeah. And screw this in so they stay in for the duration of the demonstration. Yeah, so there's a red LED here which makes some flashing, and it makes a sound which doesn't even try to imitate the RoboCop's actual brrp bursting sound. Yeah, I hope I'll have to learn some electronics so I can get this nicer. Also, this actually, even though you might think this orange cap here is not a single piece, it is actually 2 halves, like the rest of the gun, but it's so snug you can barely make them out. But yeah, so I do this. Well, I think this will be the first thing I'll do modifications on, because it's pretty much the simplest. Well, get the sticker off, and there's actually 2 bits of raised stuff on this side. It says made in China here, and over here there is a logo which looks exactly like the Pontiac Firebird logo for some reason. Anyway, so yeah, paint this black, and of course the barrel needs some widening. Just put a drill through there, and that's going to help a lot. And well, that's all for the toy guns I need to modify, and here's something else. This is an airsoft, a fairly rare one. This is a submachine gun called the Jatimatic, and the reason I got this is because this is a Finnish design. Of course, the original real gun, not this was made by Western Arms. You may have seen this in movies such as Sylvester Stallone's Cobra and the original Red Dawn. So with a shorter magazine, this is the 40 round magazine length. I think both of those movies had a 20 round magazine, which now goes up to here roughly. But yeah, I think I'll make a mock magazine that's that size. Now, the real gun is... I won't really bore you with all the technical details, but it had some interesting ideas, but unfortunately it never found an actual really found actual market for it. But this is a piece of Finnish history, which is why I got this. So that's it for this then now, and well, I hope you weren't too freaked out by this insight into my mind. Anyway, this is Crowley9 and Toodaloo.